Hey there, movie fans. The first topic I want to discuss is that Taika Waititi made some joke when he was presenting a tribute award to the Deadpool 2 director about the script for a Star Wars movie, and it doesn't sound like this movie's going to happen, in my opinion. I mean, nothing's been confirmed. It hasn't been announced that his project is dead, and he could be, and it sounds like he was maybe, it sounds like it was a joke. But I gotta be honest, it's the track record with Kathleen Kennedy Star Wars movies, and this movie was announced a while ago. I feel like it's just really bad. Where I feel like they just announce a bunch of movies and they always fall to the wayside. Like you had Kevin Feige Star Wars movie that he was going to do, and then Kathleen Kennedy said that didn't exist. When it was announced, that movie was going to happen, and it never did. You had Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron movie, the one woman director, where that movie they made a whole big announcement video, and that movie got dropped. You had the Star Wars trilogy that Ryan Johnson was going to do, and those are dead. And then you had the Game of Thrones showrunners I think we're going to do a Star Wars trilogy, and those never happened either. So it just like obviously Taika Waititi does have a sense of humor, and it sounds like it was a joke. I know there's been like articles going around that they're having issues trying to figure out the third act for the movie when it comes to the script for that movie. But I gotta be honest, I really think this movie's not gonna happen, and this is kind of one of those I'm getting a little tired of with why I think Kathleen Kennedy needs to go. Besides, just not having a plan for the Star Wars universe, that it felt like is that it feels like they just constantly announce Star Wars movies, and then it's got to the point now I'm just like I don't believe like a Star Wars movie is gonna happen now because they constantly announce once of them and they never seem to happen. So, like I said, it could be a joke, but I'm honestly starting to think this is going to be one of those movies, again, that's not going to happen, most likely. Again, it hasn't been announced dead, but I don't know. I'm having doubts about it. Taika Waititi stars. He's also coming off Thor: Love and Thunder, which I think could be another thing where, you know, Thor: Love and Thunder obviously wasn't the most well-received movie. Like it got decent reviews. But I know I'm somebody that felt like that was an example where you let a director go wild, where you just let him do whatever he wants, and why you need to rein the director in at times, because it really showed in that movie. Because even Kevin Feige at the premiere said, this is, when they were saying, what channel are you making? He says, this is a Taika Waititi film. That's an example where it's not always good to let the director just do whatever they want and let their style just overtake the movie. So it could be that where maybe reason I could see this movie not happening too is because of how like Thor: Love with Thunder did. But yeah, like I said, not that doesn't the movie doesn't sound like it's dead, but I'm starting to have doubts what is going to happen. The next thing I want to discuss is I saw the Nun 2. Now I'm a big fan of the Conjuring universe. The first Nun I thought was awful. I think it's one of the worst ones in the universe. I thought this one was a slight improvement. The Nun 2 is a decent horror movie. It's not great. It's slightly better than the first one, which isn't really saying much. But it's watchable. I had an okay time watching it in theaters. The positives is that the set is a little more interesting because they're going around to different places. The story's a little bit more interesting in this one. The two characters, the main girl from the first movie and the guy that played, I think the kid was called Frenchie in the first movie, they're slightly more interesting in this movie. The animal creature that comes to life at the end, I thought looked really cool, and that's really about it. It's the negatives is that it feels like a very generic paint by numbers horror movie. It's a lot of cheap jump scares that are very predictable. Yeah, the story and the characters are more interesting in this one, but they also don't stand out in any way to me. The third act, it's like really over the top and ridiculous. And also another biggest problem with this movie, and this shares something in common with Insidious the Red Door, where the mystery of the non-horror character, I think the character is called Balak, is that we already know most of this entity's backstory from the first Nun and Conjuring 2. So it's not really, it's like Insidious the way door, and the mystery isn't really that compelling because we already know most of this backstory. And the more backstory they try on, just makes the Nun character feel less scary. So overall, the mystery is like, it's Insidious the way door, which is, you already know most of it, so it's just not really that compelling of a mystery. But yeah, overall, I would recommend this if you're looking for a decent horror movie. The Nun 2. It's not, like I said, it's not like great. It's not a movie I would go back and rewatch again. To be honest, it's not one of the worst ones in the franchise, but it's just kind of forgettable. The next thing I want to discuss is they put out a trailer for Aquaman 2 finally. Let me say this: I love the first Aquaman movie. And I do think they waited too long for this movie. I think it's been like 4 or 5 years since the first one, because I believe the first one came out in 2018. They waited way too long to do a sequel to this, because the first one made a billion. I love the first Aquaman movie. It got good reviews, but I know not everybody loved it. Like, the ridiculous and over the top and goofiness really worked for me in that first one, where I felt like it hit that really great balance for me personally. And I gotta say, and I noticed Aquaman 2's been through a bunch of like behind the scene issues you've heard, where it's had multiple test screenings. They've had to do 3 rounds of reshoots, which is unusual for a movie to do that many rounds of reshoots. And I know James Wan said they had to do more active schedules. Whether that's true or not, I have to wait till I see the movie. And the fact that you have the DCU, which is the last DCEU movie, where this will be in 2025, and I honestly don't think this movie's going to do that well, no matter what the quality of it is, because I think people are just like ready for the new DC universe. So you have the fact that way too long, but you had test screenings that said people walked out. Now, honestly, with test screenings, it's not a completed version of the movie, so maybe those rounds of reshoots improved whatever the issues they had. Again, I have to wait till I see the movie. But for a trailer, I thought this was a really great first trailer for Aquaman 2 and the Lost Kingdom. To me, I felt like it kept the vibe with the first one, where it looks just really fun. I love the fact he's kind of like a father now, the character, and like even a joke in the movie where he's like going for his pants for his costume, and he says he has a job now being the king. I thought that was really funny, and I like the banter between him and his brother. I thought that was really cool seeing Black Manta be the main villain instead of the henchman like he was in the first movie. Love the costume of Black Manta too. I think it looks better in this. The visuals look great like the first movie. So yeah, when it comes to Amber Heard's character, Mia, I absolutely loved her in the first movie personally. And let me say this: she's only one shot of trailer. What is she? No matter how much screen time she has in this movie, I was gonna go see this movie regardless of her being in it, because look, I saw the Flash movie, and I really don't like Ezra Miller right now about all the stuff he's done, and I don't like Amber Heard either. But this to me was a great trailer. And I think from all the behind the scene issues you read online about this movie, and look, who knows if this movie, is going to turn out to be terrible, fun or great. But as a trailer, I thought this was a really great first trailer. The next thing I want to discuss is the news that the Werewolf by Night Marvel special is going to be coming out in color in October. I love hearing this. If you haven't checked out the Werewolf by Night Marvel special presentation, check it out. I thought this was a great movie. This and the holiday special Guardians was great. Like, I love the fact they're putting in color, because I believe in the special it was mostly black and white, except for like the last scene where I think it switched to color. Because I love the fact it was in black and white. That was in like kind of like the old horror movies, and I love the fact they're putting out a version where it's on color too. And it's cool they're doing it and putting out in October. For Halloween, I think that's a really cool thing to do. And I actually think Marvel should do more of these specials and the Disney Plus shows, because I feel like they would be the 2 for 2 now with the specials. And I feel like with these like mini movies, they would put out more. They would be able to make a lot of like great ones and do these better than the Disney Plus shows. Because a lot of times the Disney Plus shows feel like they're trying to like. They don't know how to like take those stories and like do multiple episodes of a story arc. But I feel like with specials, they're better at like condensing the story down to like a movie. I would so first for me, I would actually prefer if they did more of these specials than the Disney Plus shows. So I feel like they're better at those than they are the Disney Plus shows. But yeah, I'm just happy to see the Werewolf by Night special is getting released in fully color. Like I would love I would love to go back and rewatch this again too. I think this is a great movie. It actually is in my top three Werewolf movies. Like this, Werewolf by Night, Dog Soldiers, and American Werewolf in London are my top three Werewolf movies personally. But yeah, it's love the fact they're doing this and releasing this in Halloween in time for Halloween. So that's all the movie news until next time, movie fans.